services. I understand that that was a request for information, public information. And I understand that the first 4 hours are supposed to be free. Just wanted to make sure that you guys understood that. And I understand that you guys can charge, somebody can charge a reasonable rate for copying. The Attorney General says 10 cents is fine, and you're probably not gonna say anything about 25 cents. I understand that the comment was made tonight that in answer to some of the questions that we're gonna blame the mistake on the secretary. Now, if I misheard that, just tell me that I misheard that. From now on, somebody's gonna watch what the secretary does closer or review it more thoroughly. That isn't the first time I've heard that. Blame it on the secretary. She was asked to do something, but gave a little bit more information than she was supposed to. The question becomes now is it really information that shouldn't have been out? Or is it just information anybody could have got if they really wanted it? You know, like from church newsletters or something like that. That's a quote from an email. And I think it's pretty sad that we have public people that can give information to a contractor paid by the public, paid by the taxpayers in this county, but when somebody else wants it, they're gonna charge for it. And they're gonna make damn sure that they're charged at a rate that they think that their level of education or work stands for. I think that's awful sad. I think most of that information can be got pretty easy. Most of the time it's 2 or 3 punches of the computer. But as was informed on a sheet of paper I got here, well, we really don't know really what you want. We don't know whether you want the attachments. If they're not gonna be in color, you know, we really can't do that. Sounds pretty lame to me, that's all I have. I do have a check, you guys never told me how you want it wrote out. For the deposit of $260 before you guys do anything more. And you can do that, you can ask for that. The state says you can. You guys feel confident that you can sit here and look the rest of these guys in the face and say, I'm gonna charge those guys for that information, and you guys are gonna be around next term, go after it. That's it.
Thank you.
Ms. Jenny, anyone else on item C? No. Okay, discussion of then that information is in your packet. At this time, once we receive the check to Neligh-Oakdale Public Schools, the secretaries will begin that process of printing. They have Brad's email records and they have Carrie's. At this time, do not forward your emails to me, which is what the lawyer advised, or to Linda. I will be in communication with you as to whether or not your emails will need to be printed. Okay? If you do have anything in your personal account, and I know that we do not communicate that way, everything is with our NO Warriors account and has been since 2013. If you have anything, please print that out if it deals with facility challenges only, and that was per the request. And the lawyer does request that you keep it to that topic, facility challenges. We do not have anything to hide, and we will print those records. Do you have any questions? And if you have any questions, give a call, send an email. Okay. But at this time, no forwarded emails. Okay?
lawyer charging us then for this consultant?
We don't have a bill from the lawyer yet, but yes, nothing's free.
Any other questions or concerns on the information from Copperhead Consulting? All right, moving on to item D, discuss an action to approve change board policy. Al, would you take that?
Yeah, this is one of the auction policies we have on the bidding procedure that we just amended that to include, being consistent with all of our other policies, to add the word calendar in behind the 10 days, so it's 10 calendar days. So that's on 706.03, so we're being consistent with all of our policies. So I would recommend that we make a motion to accept that policy as amended by the policy committee.
Motion by Dal, is there a second? Any other discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Higgins,
Yes.
Schindler,
Yes.
Jacobson, Ranky,
Yes.
Ames.
Yes.
Passes. Moving on to item E, action and clerical change to board policy 707.1. Dale again, please.
And this one here was the, where we had in there the district, where we had in there the treasurer and the secretary of the board, is what we had in there. And the policy committee had recommended that we change that to the district treasurer. But I see where somebody's typing in the board president. How did that get changed? 'Cause that was.
That is who signs the checks.
Well, we have a district treasurer, so why would the district treasurer? The board president member.
The board president signs all of our bills.
But it had,
And
our
all the
policy,
checks.
well, but our policy was the treasurer, and then we,
Okay,
the
let's
policy meeting recommended.
move that to November, Dale.
Yeah, because we recommended it be the district treasurer.
That would
and
be
then-
our current policy.
Well, it just says treasurer, so we just amended the word that says district, which would be Deb. Then we sign checks along with the secretary of the board.
The secretary of the board has always signed the checks, and the board president has always signed the checks. That is our current board practice.
Yeah. But again, I don't know how somebody put that in there, the board president.
Probably because that's current practice. That is what we currently do, so that our policy matches current practice.
But I mean, my concern came, how does somebody make a change without letting me know, but then it's changed, because I see that the requirement.
Did I forward that to you, Jenny?
Yeah, and I thought it was,
My board package.
it was supposed to be board president. and-
Okay, Jenny manages the policy manual, so we only have one cook in that kitchen.
So she made the change without saying anything?
No, I'm sure that it was just based on current practice, because that's what we do.
Well, then I-
And current practice should
Let's
follow board
move
policy.
that
That's
to
what we're
next.
I'm not approve of.
Okay, move to November.
Move item E to November.
Okay.
We'll move down to F. Discussion of information concerning fall enrollment numbers, Mr. Luke. Hang on, sorry. First of all, we should be in third.
I didn't have any idea what this was gonna be about, so I just underlined it, asked to be discussed on it. It seems to be kind of a circus, this enrollment deal. The little bit that I've been involved with it. Because I was educated, one of the last school board meetings, that everybody knows that the enrollment is the last Friday in September. Look on the website, it's posted there. Before that, nobody knows what the enrollment is. So I didn't know where this was gonna go, but it sounds like you're gonna talk to the principal about what our current numbers are. Neligh-Oakdale's current numbers are. And on the request for information, I think it would have been pretty darn easy just to give them a number. And that would have been it. How many kids we got in this school? That's a pretty simple question. I don't think they asked for names and addresses and
request was for the census. That was the request.
That's, okay, census, how many numbers?
Sorry.
That's all I had.
Mr. Holmes? Sorry, Mr. Luke?
The last Friday in September, what was sent to NDE through the NSSRS, our reporting deal is K-12, we had 359 students enrolled in K-12. That's down 9 students from last year's, last Friday in September report, which was 368. Just for your information, board, since the first day of school until now, we have had 16 new students enroll, and we have had 7 leave. Since the last Friday in September, basically last week, we had 3 new students out of those 16. So our current enrollment would be 362. But as far as reporting purposes is concerned, it's 359. As far as the NSAA count, grades 9, 10, and 11, we are at 92, which would be C2 in pretty much all of our activities next year. Next year, we will be at that stage when it comes to football to decide whether we are 8-man or 11-man again. Next year's, if everything stayed the same, it would be this year's grades 8, 9, and 10. A year out, we would be at 85. And the cutoff for 8-man is 83. So, we have a couple leave at, between now and next September, and we play 8-man another 4 years, or we make the decision to go to 11. That's a year out. I'm just throwing you those numbers to be thinking about in a year's time. As far as total students, we are at 399, counting the 40 students in preschool. Correct, Mary? 40. That's all I have, unless you have questions.
Alright, thank you. Moving on, item G. Obviously, touring, wait, see if you have on this. And that,
Just for board clarification, community clarification, there is $700,000 that is budgeted to be put into the building fund. There was an ad in the paper, and I just want to make sure that you understand the details, okay, regarding some of those funds. Building fund can be used for major building improvements or major building renovations, okay? That money will not be fully receipted until September of 2015. Okay, so the first part of the taxes are due in May, and then the remainder in September. So we don't have access to $700,000 until September of 2015. $250,000 in cash reserve, that is accurate. However, be reminded, cash reserve cannot be used for major building renovations or major building improvements. Okay? $300,000 in QC PUP, reminder, a good chunk of that is to repay the bond and the interest. So we won't have access again till September of 2015 to the monies that remain for after bond repayment and repayment of interest. Okay, and that is all on that budget document, but we do not have $300,000 in QC fund, okay? Or access to it until September 2015. And our big payment, our $152,000, I believe, is the payment. I'll have to look that up to be accurate. But that bond repayment is due in December. That's when the bond repayment is due, so that will, there's a lot of those funds there. Of the 16-point correction order that the fire marshal issued, the only one that can wait until after September 2015 is the HVAC. We did ask the fire marshal to give us more time with regards to that, because those of you that have been involved with ventilation projects, piping, all of it, that all takes time. So on the report, we have that as August 2016. So that was 2 years out on the HVAC, but that is the only one that was that far out. But those were the only details that I wanted to clarify for you. I have nothing else, Fred.
Thank you. Item H, skipping new board policy 709 through 801.12. Dell?
Well, I'd like to first thank Kristen and Tracy for meeting with me. We had quite a session on all the things we went through, all the different policies. And we submitted, two of them tonight, which one was reviewed again. But the rest of them we did submit to Kim, who will review them and move them on to.
We do need to have a meeting, Dell, so we can decide after the, because I have heard from Nebraska Associated School
Okay,
Boards.
so and that's the process now, is we review it,
Right.
we give it to Kim reviews it, sends it on to the state.
Great.
So there's quite a few policies that are out there. So for tonight, the ones that you asked us to review, I do have a couple in there that we probably will move out.
Okay,
And that'll be 710.
is that a clerical issue as
Yes,
well
another clerical issue.
for November?
Yes.
Okay,
And then the other one would be on 801.03. There's a clerical issue also that we need to
okay.
move the transportation supervisor. We should be moving the superintendent principal.
Well, we do have a transportation supervisor, Rob Starkey.
Do you? That
Yes.
was his title?
Maintenance supervisor and transportation
So he does
supervisor.
all the scheduling and routing the buses? Good.
Yes.
That's neat for me. So I need to be cooking on it.
We do the routing as a team,
You guys do.
as a team.
No, yeah, but they're involved, all the bus drivers are involved with the routing.
So he's the one who determines transportation and will be based on this safety policies.
Which are included in their bus manuals.
Okay, then I have to, renege on that one.
Okay.
If you have one, then just leave it alone.
Okay,
Something
so
we add?
710 for clerical?
Yes, 710 for clerical.
All right.
And the other one I didn't find, I couldn't find, there's one there I wanted to find out on the 800 student transportation. Do we have a fee that we charge people?
If they are in town, if you look at that, that's outside of 4 miles.
Okay, I know
Okay,
that.
so for in-town routes, yes,
So
there
where
is
do
a
we
fee.
Where do we spell that out? I didn't find
That does not have to be a part of the board policy, we did check with NASB on that.
So we shouldn't.
Well, most don't have town routes. Most school districts, and we did not just our 15-school array, but we encircled probably an additional 10 schools, and of all those schools, Neligh-Oakdale Public Schools and Elkhorn Valley Public Schools were the only schools that picked up their students in town.
So but we charge a fee and we don't put it in.
If they
the
want direct pickup in front of their door, they are charged a fee. Otherwise, there are 5 public stops in Neligh, and I believe 5 public stops in Oakdale as well.
So but shouldn't we have something that spells it out so the parents know that?
NASB thought that you wouldn't want to limit that. That can be practice, but practice doesn't necessarily have to be spelled out in policy. But we do provide them with a letter. Every person in the district gets that letter, including all the daycares.
We don't put that in the student handbook.
No. No, that wouldn't be the appropriate place.
Yeah, the other one was 80104. I would probably go ahead tonight. Kristen and I and Tracy will be reviewing that in November. It's quite an in-depth policy for state sentence.
We have one as well, Dell.
556.
You're looking at states that are students Is that a 5,000 policy?
Yes.
Our statutes, our policies that go along with those state statutes are in the 500s. So we do have a student policy that is nearly identical to that one.
We'll probably cross it over, that's when we're
Exactly.
coming up in
Yep.
September. so
When we have a
can-
chance to meet as a policy
So we'll
commissioner.
probably recommend that we go ahead and pass that, but in November,
Sure.
when we meet, we'll probably review those policies
Yeah.
and see if we're up to stuff.
Absolutely.
And other than that, I think we've got our work cut out for us in October, we're meeting on one on absenteeism. Concussion on the other end, so, yeah, give my hats off to you, girls, for getting
So
that.
do you. And the concussion one, George has been visiting, of course, with Matt Belitz.
Yeah.
And our coaches get that directive
And I appreciate you putting the minutes in so we can know that we did something for the.
Very good. I patted his back for it. Very good.
Very well.
So they show you what we did. Anyway, okay, so I guess that's the only one I would say that we would move out to November, June 7th,
Okay.
and the rest of it I would recommend that we go ahead and approve.
We're
It's
not-
just
it's not
discussion
just
of review.
we're not approving.
But I'll move that one to action for November.
Okay, thanks.
Thanks, Joe. Any other questions on those? All right. Any, item A, I'm guessing, anybody from Budget and Finance have anything?
No, just that already mentioned, negotiations with teachers will begin prior to November 1st.
Jacobson, anything on the American Instruction and Technology?
We are going to have another meeting Thursday, it's still worked out with, the committee from the school. Get more information to you at the November meeting.
Thank you. Building grounds, nothing. Strategic plan, any budget, anything? All right, legislative policy review. Negotiations, we'll start again. Any other items that need to be added besides those policies in the next month? I entertain a motion for adjournment. By Ames. Second by Schindler. All in favor? Aye. All opposed, same sign. We're adjourned.
That's Miss Jenny.
Mr. Vice Chair, did you just adjourn the meeting?
Yes, the meeting is adjourned.
I never got my questions answered.
I thought we answered that, Dave, during the superintendent's report. Copperhead,
The question,
or
no.
was it the Sampson construction with the?
Either way, we have adjourned, so until at least 3 of the board members leave,
Come over and
we're not
visit.
gonna discuss. If you have, I can't reopen.
Come over and visit. I'll visit you. I thought I answered.
No, you dodged them, is what you did.
Sampson